Dear friends, we appreciate highly an opportunity to tell about the problems of people with intellectual disabilities in Ukraine in the times of the war. We do know that the main dream and the main strive of all the Ukrainians, and we hope of all the Europeans, to stop this tremendous crime that is happening against Ukrainian people. I'd like to say about people with intellectual disabilities, because I myself am the mother of one of them. My son is 38 years old, and it was difficult to take care of him and to provide decent life for him even before the war. Now it is the wartime. And because of the war, because we have attacks in Kyiv, our capital, Ukrainian capital, every day. Majority of community-based services suspended. And suddenly, persons with intellectual disabilities stopped their usual life. And of course, they're agitated, they're anxious, and they express their anxiousness. And for us, the parents, the main issue is to provide their safety. They do not realize that if it is written mining, then he or she should not go. When it is sirena, the emergency signal, they should go downstairs into the shelter. My son escaped to Europe, and he still wanted to come back, and because he was so much eager to come back, he started to be aggressive against all people around him, and we had to take him back. He needs to be here, but if he is here, he needs services every day. He needs meeting friends, he needs coming to the workshop. He has to be supported in the place where he lives, so he needs supported living. So the main issue for us is community-based services. Community-based services in Ukraine are mainly provided by non-governmental organizations. Some are provided by municipal rehabilitation centers, but in the majority of cases by non-governmental organizations. And our governments, both local and national, have no opportunity to pay for the services. During the phase of the war, new 4,000 people were placed into the institutions. Imagine, 4,000 people new with a simplified procedure are taken into the institutions. And this is the major issue, how to stop institutional placement. We need our people with intellectual disabilities to be supported in the community. Supported living. That's what we want to do, because in the times of war, institutional placement became more and more frequent. People with intellectual disabilities from the cities and towns and villages which are totally ruined by the aggressor. For example, people from Mariupol. Half of the people escaped both in Europe and in Ukraine, into the western part of Ukraine, and they had nowhere to go back. And being in the shelter with crowded premises cannot be stand by people with intellectual disabilities. They need supported flats, they need their mothers to be in the safe environment and coming back, so we need your support for people to have place to live. And of course, in the recent times, in the recent 3 weeks, we are having blackdowns every day and blackouts every day. In the average, in the daytime, we have 8 hours without electricity. And of course, we need some substitution to the centralized electric supply. It deals both heating and water supply and lighting and an opportunity to cook for those who have electric stoves. And it is very urgent and it is very difficult. If you have a person in your family, a person with intellectual disability, it means that you were building this system of support for years. For me, it took about 10 years to build this support, everyday support, every time support for my son. And it was, this system was ruined in one moment. And of course, restoration of the services and restoration of some support to these people is a very difficult matter in the war times and needs much of professional work. So, of course, we need professional help. You know, we have different organizations. Some work in the capital, some works in the occupied territories, some work in relatively safe places. Every family and every mother needs services, and every mother who takes care of an adult with intellectual disabilities needs respite care from time to time to restore her energy and her capacity. So we would appreciate highly your support.